Hello, everyone. It is June 20th, 2020. So 06/20/2020, 06/20/2020, Father's Day. And I would like to say a happy Father's Day to my old gray-haired daddy, a gray-haired daddy of mine. He's a incorrigible gambler, but he's my daddy. I love you, daddy. I hope you have a good one. Still alive, still not going strong. His old knee acts up. He's got arthritis of the knees. Slows him down, keeps him from bounding up the stairs like he used to, but he's still going strong. So happy Father's Day to all you dads, not just my dad. And it's interesting. I was thinking about something that Mrs. Richards and I and my dad built at a house I lived in a few years ago. So I used to live in a house not far from where I am now, about 7 years ago, in the heart of the peninsula, the South Surrey Peninsula. And one summer, my wife and I and my gray-haired daddy started building a water fountain out in the front yard. And when I say we started building it, they started building it. And I obviously chipped in, and I was enthusiastic about it. I liked the water fountain. I liked the design. The whole thing struck me as pretty good. So they built this water fountain, and it was a pretty nice one. And unfortunately, about 6 months later, we ended up selling that house. Well, I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately, but I mean, it was kind of a wasted effort, I suppose, in that respect. So we sold the house. And, as you do when you sell houses, you come back from time to time to check out the old neighborhood. And we were back in that old neighborhood about a year after we had sold it. And water fountain, poof, gone, filled in, statue removed, pond, dirt or turfed over. The other little accoutrements that were around it had also been removed and disappeared. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit upset by it. And my wife was upset by it. And why do I bring this up? Well, we are seeing a lot of things happening lately. This will be a quick video. I know I haven't done many videos lately, for a variety of reasons, but I just wanted to get on and talk about this one because I was thinking about it lately. We've seen a lot of we're seeing a lot of statues get torn down these days, aren't we? And the arguments for and against it really are a lot of distraction, I guess you would say. What's being done right now is actually as old as time. As old as statues have been around, they've been torn down. There's actually a word for this, and it's called iconoclasm. What is iconoclasm? Iconoclasm is the social belief in the importance of the destruction of icons and other images or monuments, most frequently for religious or political reasons. People who engage in or support iconoclasm are called iconoclasts. Seems like kind of a grandiose term for what's going on now, but nevertheless, a term that has come to be figuratively applied to any individual who challenges cherished beliefs or venerated institutions on the ground that they are erroneous or pernicious. What's happening now? We're seeing this all over the place, right? We're seeing it not just in the United States, but all over the Western world. And that's the key phrase in there. That is the phrase that you want to hang on to. It is happening in the Western world. No statues coming down in Japan. No statues coming down in India, as far as I know. No statues in Saudi Arabia coming down, or monuments. Saudi Arabia, I believe, as an Islamic country, they have a prohibition anyways on any kind of representations. I know they do, of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And so as such, they wouldn't have that, but I mean, they would still have statues there, I'm sure. But no, this is only happening in the West. But is it new? No, it's not new. This, as I've said, has been going on a long, long time. So we can go way back, 1600 years or so to the dawn of Christianity. And one of the first things the Christians did in the ancient world, once they obtained power, once they became numerous enough and culturally confident enough that they were able to hold power, they started destroying, of course, the gods and the temples, Jupiter, Mars, the Roman pantheon, and even the Greek pantheon as well. Christians started destroying them. The Parthenon was vandalized, and not just by Christians, by every group that essentially takes that area. So Christianity eventually lost out for a time in Greece as the Ottoman Empire, which was an Islamic, kind of a secular, well, no, I guess it was mostly just Islamic, an Islamic empire, the Ottoman Empire, and what is now Turkey. They used the Parthenon as a gunpowder magazine, and that's why it's got the pockmarked masonry. This was the result of an attack by Venetian forces in the 17th century. So here we have the Parthenon, one of the wonders of the ancient world, a symbol of the Apolloism or the Greco-Roman pagan religion, a very, very powerful symbol. Two sides fighting that did not give a shit about it. The Muslims used it as a gunpowder magazine, and the Christians were shooting at it without any kind of veneration whatsoever, right? So this is quite old. Here we see the 1940s, the Soviets, once they had fully taken power and occupied Germany, what did they do? Well, let's take a look.
These civilizations crumble away.
Yep, that's what they did.
These civilizations crumble away.
So you can see, once the Soviet Union was able to take control of Germany through their counteroffensives, and they held power in Germany, they started blowing up all the Nazi monuments. And interestingly enough, they have put Soviet monuments. There's statues of Lenin, statues and tributaries. Is that the right word? Tributes, whatever, monuments. There's monuments to the Soviet Union and the Soviet citizens all throughout Germany, monuments to the Holocaust. So this is kind of an interesting thing in that your conqueror, even though, what's interesting there is that even though they have been conquered by the Soviets, the Soviet Empire no longer exists, but the statues and everything that they put up is still there. So how does this relate to what's happening now? Well, let's take another look. So protesters tore down a George Washington statue and set fire on its head. This was in Portland a couple days ago. George Washington has been declared a genocidal colonist. All right. You wouldn't have heard that when I was in school. Thomas Jefferson has also been torn down, I believe. A statue of Pierre Trudeau. Now, I mean, this isn't necessarily iconoclasm, but it's so damn funny. I just had to put it in. Somebody has put blackface on the statue of Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And if you may know, his son, of course, is famous for not once, not twice, but not 3 times, donning blackface and going out to a party and acting like an idiot. And, it's really interesting when someone like Trudeau says we need to examine systemic racism, and he is ostensibly a racist at the head of the system, right? Maybe you should remove yourself, Mr. Trudeau. Maybe that would be a good idea, right? Oh, no, he won't do that. He won't do that. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when that blackface first came out. I didn't really. I thought, okay, he's just acting like an idiot at a party. Is that really a big deal? But then I absorbed it a little more, and I thought, well, what if somebody took some what if somebody black or Mexican or whatever dressed up as some, I don't know, cucked white dork and started going around like that? I think I would be offended, actually. So I see their point, right? And for the record, I've never done it. I've managed to go my whole life without ever feeling the need to put on blackface, but he's done it 3 times, right? So I don't know, something weird there. So when we look at systemic racism, I think we need to look at him first. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. So let's finish this off. So even John A. Macdonald, in a country that did not have slavery, right? Canada had no slavery. It had been abolished by the British Empire before Canada was even kind of a, it would have been abolished in the United States before Canada was even officially a country. But John A. Macdonald's statue has also been vandalized. So it's just a matter of time before the statues here start coming down as well. So the reaction is, though, I mean, I'm not surprised at this. Historically, it's quite common. And I'm not surprised that it's happening. I'm more surprised by the reaction. I guess if you don't like that, what are you going to do about it, right? What are you going to do about it? And the answer is nothing, because you can't really do anything about it. And I know this may be blackpilling, but like I said, when that fountain at our house got filled in, we weren't happy about it. But did we call the police? Did we go to their house and insist they put it back in? No, we didn't do anything. Why? Because it was no longer our house. We were no longer in charge. We no longer really had any say in what happened there. That's the thing, right? And that's what's happening in Western civilization. You can't expect to let other cultures and other people into a nation and expect them to venerate the same heroes, leaders, especially if they were on the other side of the coin, right? Like, I mean, Genghis Khan was kind of a nasty piece of work, right? You know, if you had taken over a country and they had statues of, and you were one of the people, you know, maybe you're Hungarian or Polish or whatever, Ukrainian, Russian, and you were one of the people that was on the receiving end of Genghis Khan's bloodthirsty rampage, you had taken over one of these places and there was a statue of Genghis Khan, would you keep it up there? Kind of foolish if you do, right? So really, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a changing of the guard. And like I said, this is to be expected. Whatever culture or whatever race or whatever group of people come into an area, it's just like coming into a house. They're going to make it to suit them, right? They're going to remodel it to suit their desires, their aspirations, their cultural imperative. It's going to be suited to them. And that includes institutions, that includes social events, that includes practices, and most of all, it includes icons, right? It includes icons. And that's what's going to happen. And, you know, right now they want to tear things down, and then they're going to want to put things up, and then they're going to fight with each other, right? And, you know, one group may have something, and then 100 years from now, you know, maybe Martin Luther King goes up in a month, and then 100 years from now, he comes down, and, you know, I don't know, who's a Mexican, Vicente Fox? Maybe he's, I don't know. I'm not very familiar with Mexican heroes of the past. Pancho Villa, maybe, or Cesar Chavez. Maybe one of those guys goes up, right? So that's the thing. This is happening because you no longer are in control. You better realize that. And either you're going to have to, if you want to stop it, you're going to have to take back control, okay? Plain and simple. You're going to have to take back control of your institutions, take back control of the propaganda, meaning the media, take back control of everything, the judiciary. And right now, you don't have that control. People that are hostile to you do have that control. So expect this to continue. Expect it to pick up pace. And as your power diminishes, you're going to see this increase. Unless, of course, you are watching this from the other side. As your power increases, then you're going to have at it even more, right? And I mean, You know, it's not inconceivable that we could see Holocaust memorials coming down in places, right? Uh, I think that will be covered a little more sharply. But nevertheless, all that stuff is on the table, right? So I thought I would just leave you with that kind of a brief thing today. I mean, this is what's happening. You don't like it, stop it, right? That's all there is to it. If you can, you know, it's a challenge. So until next time, I will see you guys later.